You know, as I get older, my memory is fading, and I'm thinking I've been here before. Wasn't I here 2 weeks ago? Anyway. So today we have these wonderful images of fear, actually, fear and redemption. So there are 3 touchstones in our scripture this morning that I want to point to. There are many. I could have preached about 10 sermons on this passage. So I'm laughing because I find it funny that Elijah, this prophet, is hiding in a cave, and he's afraid. He says, they're going to kill me. They're after me. And so what is he going to do? And he hides himself. And then he hears from God that he is to stand on top of the mountain. Just think how brave we would be in that situation. Not. Then we have Paul, who has this fantastic passage that is quoted very often in our common language. He says, "No one who believes in Jesus will be put to shame, for there is no distinction between Jew and Greek. The same Lord is Lord of all and is generous to all." And it's not said here, but it is implied that there is a fear of the non-Jews. And Paul's whole ministry was a ministry teaching us that we should not require of Gentiles that they become circumcised or become Jewish in order to follow Christ. And then we have this fabulous story of Peter. Jesus is walking on water. Wow, that's a phrase we hear all the time. Oh, he walks on water. But Jesus, this is where it comes from. Jesus walks on water toward the disciples who are in a boat, and the wind is very strong, and they're frightened, and they say, "Oh, well, that must be a ghost." And Jesus says, No, it's me. Do not be afraid. And so Peter being Peter, he says, "Oh, well, let me walk toward you." And so Peter gets out of the boat and he's walking on water. Wow. And what happens? Suddenly he's aware of the wind and he's terrified and he begins to sink. And Jesus reaches out and lifts him up, and they enter the boat, and the water is calmed, and they are safe. These are fantastic stories. They are touchstones in the scripture today that are really meant to help us understand our fear. And our faith in God, in Jesus, takes us out of that fear. Our modern sterilized language has a word for fear that we're probably all familiar with. It's called phobia. I looked this up and found that in fact, the word phobia has been used more times in recent decades than ever in the history of the human language, or English language, I should say. Phobia, the definition is, it's an extreme, irrational fear of or aversion to something. I have a terror of deep water. Every single summer, I say to myself, this summer, I'm going to overcome my fear. And I'm 73. Guess what? I can swim. I can swim beautifully in 4 feet of water. But I probably could save my life if I were tossed into the sea. But for some reason, when it comes into my mind and I'm thinking of Peter, suddenly he's aware, oh, I could sink. He sinks. When I become aware that I'm in water over my head, I think, oh my God, I have to put my feet on something solid. And the fear is uncontrollable, and it is so extreme, and this has happened to many people. It is so extreme that my body actually goes rigid and I do sink. If I didn't have the fear, I would float. I have plenty of fat to keep me floating. But today, the phobias, there are new kinds of phobias, and I want to bring your attention to 2. And they're very, 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 very important for us as Christians in the world. One of them is homophobia, and we hear it over and over. And that is the fear or hatred or discomfort of people who are different, who do not follow traditional gender norms. Now, we're wise people, especially us here in this situation in Milton. But if we really think in our heart of hearts about our feelings, there is something inside of us that says, well, and if we recognize that fear, we can reach out and overcome it. A second fear is xenophobia. It doesn't begin with Z, it begins with X. And it means a dislike or prejudice against people from other countries or people who are different. There's an in group and an out group, and you're either in or you're out. And that fear brings us into many political situations that are rife with violence. I don't know how many of you watched the Frontline program this week called Inside the Iranian Uprising. Oh my God, I was so upset watching that, the torture of young women who are just simply trying to be themselves. The cause of this strife is fear. I want to go back to Peter and Elijah. Both are full of that irrational, overwhelming fear. And what does God say to Elijah? Go up on the top of that mountain. Don't be afraid, because I am with you. And Peter, who begins with all this bravado and this courage and this, I love you, Jesus, and I understand, gets out of that boat and he's walking on the water, and then he is terrified that he's going to sink. And Jesus reaches out and pulls him up. and they are safe, and they are calm. What would happen to us if we were smart enough, or conscious enough, or self-involved enough to understand the fears that live inside of us? If we could throw them off and understand that Jesus, that God is reaching out to us and saves us and brings us calm. We all suffer fears. Our society is full of xenophobia and homophobia and many more destructive forces. That is destructive of our society, of our communities. Our world is full of fear of others. And all that God asks is that we listen for the word that comes from God in the silence of our hearts, of our minds. He says to us, do not be afraid. Jesus reaches out to Peter. He reaches out to you and to me. Do not be afraid, for God is with us to calm our fears and to lift our hearts, to love us beyond all measure. Amen.